outsiders, but some Kenyans were disparaging on their nation. He said this very welcome assessment places Nairobi ahead of bigger and better known cities like Paris, Montreal and Philadelphia, among others. The government single payment system e-Citizen marked a new milestone after realizing 903.6 million shillings on a single day. Citizen Services Principal Secretary Julius Bitok reported the milestone, saying a third of the transactions were dollar denominated. Bitok attributed the milestones to the government's use of a single pay bill number 22222 for all payments for the public services. He said following the directive and having over 14,000 services currently accessible and payable on the platform, the PS said the National Treasury collected 4.664 billion shillings in November, up from 1.44 billion shillings in June before the directive by President William Ruto. The minority leader in the National Assembly, Opiyo Wandayi, has now raised allegations that the Council of Governors and some senior officials of the National Assembly are collaborating in corruption scandals where they have added medical equipment in a contract that was recently signed with the Belgian government. Wandayi claims that this year has been hit by many scandals that have made life difficult for the average Kenyan. Wandayi says that in the contract, the county governments included the plan, which was for medical waste equipment, with the agreement that it will include the cost of repair, but the cost of the whole contract increased by 60% despite the removal of taxes.
And now there's a major scam in the making that involves the National Treasury and the Belgian government. This is the microwave medical waste treatment project. The microwave medical waste treatment project signed between the government of Kenya and the Belgian government to supply counties, the 47 of them, with medical waste management equipment. Now, counties agreed to this deal on the understanding that it will include funding for the maintenance and management of the equipment. In the end, the cost of the contract signed by the National Treasury rose by 60% or thereabout, despite a tax waiver.
The MP now says that it is not known where the funds for the repair of the equipment are, saying that the opposition will not accept the corruption scandals to continue being experienced in the country. Now, Matatu Owners Association has asked drivers to be careful on the roads this Christmas season. Matatu Owners Association chairperson Albert Karakacha has said that he has sent his officers to various areas in the country to ensure that public transport operators comply with all road rules. Karakacha has also warned drivers against increasing fares, asking traffic officers not to abuse Matatu operators this season.
We will be on the road, even us, to make sure that our vehicles are safe, our passengers are safe. So going forward, we are saying we will have a continuous road safety issue, not harassing our people. We don't want our people to be harassed. But we are urging our members, wherever they are, they should make sure that the vehicles are in good condition. And we are urging the police not to harass our members. We will be vigilant on the road to make sure that our people reach safely.
And this being the festive season and peak time for matatus, the operators have admitted that there is a small number of travelers this year.
Kumbea na zile Christmas za nyuma, hali ni mbaya sana. Kuna kwanga sahi watu wamejaa kwa viti, kazi imekuwa chini. Kwa sahi naona ni ngumu sana. Hata magari zingine zimesimama, zinakwanga sahi magari zinatoka saa 1, sahi magari zinatoka saa 7, zingine zimelala. Yaani hata tuelewi kama ni Christmas.
This time round, compared to last year time like now, people are not traveling a lot. So the business is a bit low. We normally said like 100 buses out of Nairobi at a time like this one. We've only managed to set like 20 buses. So now comparing to the way business was last year, this year it is a bit low.
This is News. I am Dennis. I said good morning and happy holidays.
SpiceFM, Nyeri.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Good morning, and I love your show.
Thank you.
Having come from a Kikuyu radio background, I migrated to Spice because of the content.
I was born in a slum, but somehow I got a break in life. So sometimes when you see the sweating coming out because of the passion and whatever it is, behind the noise, there are people, and we share the same umbilical cord.
It shouldn't be like that. I am so disappointed. We used to tell Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga that he's doing politics of conmanship, and even President Uhuru Kenyatta, serikali hii ndio iko na conmanship ya hali ya juu. You cannot promise people that you reduce tax then you double.
In politics, there is the issue of trust. For you to turn around and then stab the same people who gave you that trust, there is no other level of dishonesty. Na hii mambo utaona dunia tu.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Revenge is for children. It's for kids. When you grow up, you realize the best revenge you can take on somebody is to ignore them.
Now, I'm just new in politics. It is not everybody's cup of tea. That's why some people come in one term and that's it for them.
Political parties in this country do not have ideologies, whether luring or otherwise.
And that is the effect of corruption.
Any time an offense occurs anywhere in the country, it is the job of the Inspector General to look into it. Whether it's corruption, whether it's murder, whether it's petty, that is his job.
If we have chosen to be a corrupt nation, then we produce corrupt leaders. Everything then becomes chaotic that you cannot be able to change.
If a lion shows you its teeth, it doesn't mean it likes you.
It doesn't mean it likes you. It won't start.
A liar calls as witness one who is either dead or far away. Say it in
Ben low, nin inte, nin there, you markati kadikta. You know this character called liar. He has disturbed people. So when you tell him who are your witnesses, he will take you to a place where it is difficult to verify.
For someone like me who sweats a lot, I cannot survive there. Sweating is biblical. Good. And he must blame it on Adam, not me. Because Adam messed up and he was told, no, you fellow, you, by the sweat of your brow, thou shalt eat.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
You tune into Kenya's biggest conversation. My name is Ramanya.
Amen. Amen.
So 1 hour is over?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It gets over.
Can you imagine
in 20 minutes?
What the big boys have also done?
I'm very proud of myself. When you understand about partnership in politics, it's like the way marriage is these days. When you're looking for a wife, you're like, maybe you can help me pay for fees as I pay for the rent.
Why should you have a lioness living in your bedroom?
I have to tell you a story. I went for a prayer meeting, which was called for the spouses of candidates for senators and governors. And when I got to the gate, the lady who was the secretary, she refused to, she's telling me, no. Leo tunataka wa mama. Leo ni wa mama. I'm telling her, no. She said, no, sio siku yenu. And I thought, there's a problem here, because if it was a man, but this was a lady.
It will become...
If you go out of this country and come back the same person, then you have a problem. Buy land, 1 million. Put it there for 5 years. What's the purpose?
It'll have increased in value.
No, that's the thing. That's darkness. That's an eclipse. You don't do that.
I hope you don't believe that a hustler is a poor person or that all hustlers are poor. I've seen that conversation.
Tell us, who is a hustler?
Who is a hustler? Hustler is a person who is making a living through hard work.
Corruption in Kenya is a political accusation. The people who are actually corrupt are not pointed fingers at.
Kenya is not free. Kenya imeshikwa na mateka. It's under siege.
Have you seen that lodge on Nyeri Road? Very high fence. You can't even
windows
sleep inside.
Up near the ceiling.
Yes. And if you walk that midnight, you see bats the size of cows.
And when it rains, it doesn't rain on that building.
Yes.
When you're at All Saints and it's raining, it doesn't rain on that building.
The things people will believe.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Good morning and welcome to Friday. What do we have on the streets this morning? Not much, actually. As you're coming off the Thika Superhighway, we're not going to see much movement coming into the CBD. And the Northern Bypass is not giving anything off onto Kiambu Road. For now, it looks good. Coming out of Westlands. And also on Limuru Road also looks pretty good. Moving. Those who are out this morning, moving. Now, the folks who are on Haile Selassie today, in and outbound, are in a bit of a pickle because traffic has already begun there. It's coming off of Landys Road and it looks like it's going to be pretty busy for the morning. And then into the weekend, it will be busy. This we know already. Of course, because of the season, people are traveling. Bus station is going to be jam-packed. And it has already started at a few minutes after 6 o'clock. Let's see what Friday has in store. We're keeping an eye on things. And you're going to help us out here this morning, are you not? Yes. Let's talk on SpiceFM KE on X. Keep things moving this morning.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latif, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
This morning, on the 22nd of December, and Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. Good morning to you. Welcome. How are you? Hope everybody's doing well. Coming to our last broadcast for this year, live that is, and getting into it. So as we kick off the morning, before we even say hello properly, let's remind you that today we're going to be hearing from you. We've already seen or heard suggestions in terms of what you guys want us to replay for you over the next 10 shows. Shows that you've heard, whether they be this year, just recently, or the year before. What was it that stood out? What would you like us to repeat in terms of messages? So through the show, we'll be taking, or hearing from you. And as we do that, we'll get into it properly. But there will be other conversations that we'll be having today, and we're going to engage with you quite some as we come to that. But one of the conversations we'll be having today is with Jacqueline Kavomi. Now, she's a nutritionist, and today, you know how it is. You're going to be eating a little bit more than you would in a 24-hour period, isn't it? So she says, how about we talk about what you need to do to keep weight in check during this festive season and make sure that even as you indulge, you are not overindulging. So we'll have that conversation this morning at 7 a.m. and then 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. We'll engage with you as we come towards the end of the year. And as we get into it, Edna has a song. Where did it go?
Niko wimbo. Inaendaje? Mary's boy child.
Wait a minute. Inakuya. From the bottom of my heart.
Bas. That's how it goes. It's from the bottom of my heart.
Uko salama leo asubuhi?
Mimi? Niko feliz.
Uko feliz?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Na wewe je?
Niko feliz pia.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Very good. So as we get towards the end of the year, hii mambo it happens, you know?
Gani hiyo?
Hii mambo yote hii ya Feliz Navidad.
Oh yeah.
Ndio?
Monday hii nakuja.
Kila kitu. Okay. Mzee will be joining us shortly. And we'll be doing like that, the way we normally do like that. So maybe probably, because you've already probably... So the nutritionist is coming at 7.
Yes, she is.
To tell us why we have been fattening goats and we cannot fatten ourselves.
Yes, we should not eat all of the fattened goats because we will also then be fattened.
What's wrong? I mean, January is coming.
You will not have food in January, so it will all balance out.
Yes.
What's the problem?
Animals eat for winter.
So that we can eat them.
Yes.
And then
they eat so that when winter comes, when they hibernate, they have enough
blubber
to run them through. It's the same thing with us. We eat over Christmas and New Year's because January is coming.
73 days of January is coming. So, I mean, you have to have something in the reserves.
What's the problem? Surely. Cooler. Anyway, we'll hear from her when she comes.
Let's hear what she has
17 after 6. Let's do like that, yeah?
Yeah.
Do the weather and then we shall do like that.
Cloudy conditions in Nairobi at 16. We'll see highs of 24 and lows of 15. It's cloudy at 13 in Nakuru with highs of 26. And we'll see highs of 24 in a partly cloudy Nyeri at 15. Eldoret is cloudy at 13 with highs of 25. And we're looking into a cloudy Mombasa at 27 with highs of 31 and lows of 26. Malindi is clear at 26 with highs of 32. Clear conditions in Kisumu at 20 with highs of 30. And we'll see highs of 30 in Kakamega as well, where it's clear at 19. All right, we're looking into a mostly cloudy Kampala at 19 with highs of 28, while Dar es Salaam will see highs of 31, where it's mostly clear currently at 27. Cloudy at 18 in Johannesburg with highs of 30 and lows of 17. And into Mogadishu, partly sunny already at 25 with highs of 32, while Addis Ababa at 13 is cloudy with highs of 24 and lows of 11. It's hazy over Lagos skies at 25 with highs of 33 and lows of 24, while Johannesburg is cloudy at 18. We'll see highs of 30 and lows of 17. Kinshasa is clear at 24 with highs of 32. -7 and partly sunny in Beijing Friday afternoon with highs of -4 and lows of -13. It's 11 and cloudy in Paris with highs of 12, while London is raining at 10 with highs of 12 and lows of 9. -1 and clear in New York Thursday night, coming into Friday, highs of 6 and lows of -4.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM.
Mambo.
Hey, I was looking for something more. Now that you raised your arms.
What's here?
Fit. It goes with the look, the hats, the jacket, and the leather shoes.
Kabisa, leo ni ile Friday.
Nakwambia, country road.
Leo ni ile Friday.
This leo.
Get out of the way, yo. Hey. Wait, otherwise, City?
Jamani, wajua ukiangalia kweli niko mzima kabisa.
Sisi tukiangalia.
No, mimi haki niko mzima, imagine.
There it is.
Okay. Ndu. Who else is awake?
Everybody. Don Sabwa says, CT, Ndu, Eric, Edna, Merry Christmas. Goodbye, all. Just like that. See you in 2024. Goodbye in Malawi. We say, Chabwino, Tiwa Onana. Tiwa Onana. Onana. CT,
What's
say, Chabwino, Tiwa Onana. Chabwino?
Chabwino.
Tiwa?
Tiwa.
Tiwo.
Tiwo, Chabina.
No.
Owino.
Chabwino. Chabwino.
Oh, Chabwino.
Tionana.
Chabwino tuionana.
Sawa basi. Naweza kuwa hivyo ukitaka. Obinna. You can even say Obinna. Hey, who is texting me at
you know? See, this is like a song. Oh, Nana.
Oh, Nana. What's his name?
Yes, there's a song.
Then there's a guy called Onana.
Yes, there's a guy called Onana.
He's a footballer.
He's a
goalkeeper, please. Yeah.
No, he's not a goalkeeper.
He's a what?
He's not a goalkeeper.
He stands at the goal.
Okay, let's say so. He's a goal seer. He's a goal seer.
He's not a goalkeeper.
He's a goal body man.
R says Tuko Hapa. Raphael Kige says, good morning, team. Very insightful. Have a good day. CT, Eric, Ndul, and Edna. Crispin Amolo says, good morning, great people. Listening from Kisumu, Dala. Merry Christmas to everyone and Spice family. Edna, thank you so much for your good work. Best wishes. Miss Kia. Okay. Soulful says, Assalamu alaikum, locked in from 19-degree Dubai. Enjoy your break to our Miss Pierre, to our Miss Sana. I do not want to miss this last show of the year, says Polycarp Omondi, so he's here. Kobalo Oyugi says, happy Friday. Good morning, the super trio, Ndo and Edna Nawapenda Sana. Jora Mumbo. Brian Oginga says, good morning from Tel Aviv. Thank you for a wonderful year and happy holidays. Toti Bishop says, it's been real, team Situation Room. Let's do it again next year. Indeed. Happy holidays to you and yours. Keep pushing. Thanks, brother. Jeffrey Mogaka says, good morning. Ndu CT Eric, it's been a nice year. I will miss you. For Edna, Sisemi Kitu. Pokea salamu tu za Mombasa. Eh? Ni sawa basi.
Naya.
Ni sawa. Carol Nyambura, bado anatupenda sana sana, wishing us a Merry Christmas and a blessed 2024. Good morning from Miami, Florida. Greetings to Edna, Ndu, CT, and Eric. You guys make us proud. That's why I can't wait to see your show. Thank you, sir. David says, Salimia Edna. Good happy holidays, my favorite people. We'll miss you. Sir George Gashoyuri says, good morning, Ndu, Edna, CT, Eric. Happy Friday. The weekend would be less if Friday did not exist. It's true. Agnes Top says, good morning, big team. Happy holidays and a happy new year. Willis says, happy new year. Afro-Jamaican is asking, CT, do you want some Jamaican proverbs?
Please, one. Just to start off with, then others can come later.
Okay. Desmond Ortiz says, good morning. Spice team. Uhanya Beach as usual locked in. And Emmanuel is locked in from New Delhi and says, good morning. Mutuachie Edna too. Buana. Okay. Jimmy Wekesa says, good morning to all. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a happy 2024. Solomon Oluoch is also tuned in, as is Robertson Bogo from Mombasa. Tibbs Muge says, Merry Christmas. Dr. Van Vick is tuned in from Tuda in Mombasa. And quite a number of people online this morning. Excellent job over that 1 year. Remarkable guests, in my view. Jimmy Wajigi, Jacqueline Mugo, Asanteni Sana, says John Gishuki. CT, you could... Okay, Deep say, yeah, CT is here, don't worry. Mohammed Saeed says, good morning from Dubai. And John K says he's tuning from San Francisco. Oh, people are... And now Apenda Sana, this trio always makes me smile. And the mornings are refreshing, says Carol Maringa. Charlie Mwene is also tuned in this morning. Kolum Kipkemboy says, greetings. The morning's full of wisdom. Henry Nico says... I like your show. Congratulations. Count me in from Kisi County. Says Eric Osoro and Samuel Karanja na tusalimia kabisa.
Sana. City, the final proverb from...
The country of Kenya.
Oh, hello. We're here, Mama.
I thought I was going to complete it. You know, so well. It's from
just leaving you hanging.
Drums.
And then nothing.
Then, I'm thinking still drums. Okay. It has to be in Kiswahili. Jamani, lazima iwe kwa Kiswahili.
Sawa basi. Okay. Tumekubali sisi.
Bahati ikikukataa hata kwa mganga haitafaa. Speak and rhyme all the time. Bahati ikikukataa hata kwa mganga haitafaa.
Basi. Haya. Ni sawa. Tunkubali sisi, tunkubali. Tunkubali. Sawa. Headlines?
Wacha nikwambie zile niko nazo.
Tuambie zile uko nazo. Sisi uko na gani?
Everything.
Let everything happen basi.
Wewe nataka Daily Nation?
Nataka hile please.
Shiklia Daily Nation.
Merci beaucoup monsieur.
Wewe nataka Business Daily.
Let's hear.
Business Daily yeye wako.
Let's hear.
Iko ingine nyingine nataka?
Hapana.
Kila mtu iko na Nairobian?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Sawa. Ding dong merrily on high. Good news for CBC pupils and parents. That's what's on the front page of the Standard this morning. School children under the new curriculum and their parents can now breathe a sigh of relief after the government reduced subjects and lessons in a major move to lighten the workload and ease the book purchase burden, when schools reopen for first term next month. Long story short, less subjects, less load, less money to spend on buying of books.
No. That story doesn't add up at all, but anyway, it's a headline. Let's continue.
We'll continue with the story. End of darkness. Cheers plan to curb blackouts. On the other side of the pond, Samia Suluhu said, blackouts. Tanzania, everybody go home. That's the way to sort it out. But Cheer has a different plan. Let's hear what he has to say.
Probably wants to build something, wants to erect something, and there's a budget for it, and it'll be in the billions, if tens of billions.
Yeah.
That's it.
We'll see.
Okay.
Uncertainty plagues DRC as East African forces leave. There's a picture there of folks getting onto the aircraft or getting off. I don't know what they're doing. Oh, arriving in Kenya, rather. Survey reveals the poor state of our hospitals. Ooh-wee. Not the poor state, the sorry state of our hospitals. And Education CS now is in a state of shock over the high school dropout rate. Okay. Yeah, those are some of the things that are happening. Curtain falls on Muhangala. Hit songstress. Unfortunately, not a good way to end the year. Subjects slashed in new CBC changes is on the front page of The Nation. So it's a thing, apparently. Less subject, less workload. Don't spend so much on books. Why Matatu fares will not fall despite the drop in fuel prices. My goodness. Look at some of the queues that we saw yesterday around the bus station. Folks trying to get up country for the festivities. If you're looking at going into Western now, we're looking at easily almost double what folks were paying last year. It's tough stuff.
Tough stuff, you, eh?
Yes. So these are some of the things we're looking at on the back page of The Nation.
Okay.
Counties set for 16.2 billion revenue raise in new budget. Tongezewa pesa.
Tongezewa? Business Daily. 2024 is coming and Ruto is coming. President William Ruto's administration plans to raid taxpayers for an additional 361.8 billion shillings to fund its second full-year budget, which is set to cross the 4 trillion mark for the first time. Okay? 4 trillion iko kwa mfuko yenu. What? Pesa tutakujia. Tax target is going up by 362 billion shillings in 2023-2024.
Okay, that's
no 2024-2025. The draft budget policy statement for the year starting July 2024 shows the Treasury intends to increase the budget to nearly 4.2 trillion shillings from the current 3.9 trillion shillings revised estimate for the current financial year. Haya, Mukule Christmas. If you're anxious about that story, the Business Daily also has a story on bored and anxious. Here's how to have joy over Christmas. Okay? Ticker headlines. Firms eye 187 billion shilling power line deals. That's what we're talking about. The firms have lined up power transmission line projects worth 187 billion under PPP model with the government, raising hopes of improving the country's shaky grid that's been blamed for frequent outages. They also look back into the year of education reforms when President Ruto appointed a presidential working party on education reforms barely 2 weeks after he was sworn into office. The sector did not foresee the enormity of the sweeping changes that the team would come up with. The headline, state in new push to up banks' core capital. The government will once again attempt to raise commercial banks' core capital requirements from the current minimum of 1 billion shillings in what is likely to trigger another wave of mergers and acquisitions of smaller lenders. Okay. Fanya hivyo City.
Star.
Yes.
Top right hand corner. It is not until green today. It is in some maroonish red color.
It is not in burnt brown either.
Not even in burnt brown.
No, it's not burnt brown. There.
It's a Christmas one.
Voila.
Yes. It looks like, it looks like that. The editor, staff, and management of the Star wish all our readers, that is us, and clients, that is also us, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. The Star will not publish from December 25th to January, meaning December 25th to January, there'll be no Star.
Okay?
Your favorite paper will be back on January the 2nd. Okay, that's the news that they have given us.
Okay.
On the top right-hand corner.
Okay.
Not in teal green.
Okay.
There are no side stories, just a picture, huge picture. Person of the year 2023, multi-word record breaker Faith Kipyegon, 29, is the star person of the year 2023. Kipyegon's remarkable athletic achievements, advocacy for gender equality, philanthropic endeavors, and a positive impact on society makes her deserving recipient of the title. The title being the Star Person of the Year 2023. Sasa unaweza kupiga hiyo.
Nipige tena?
Nipige tena.
Sawa. Shangwe na vigelegele.
Yes.
Nderemo na vifijo.
First of all, the vifijo. Yes. Now, here, inside this there are too many stories.
Okay.
Best and worst counties in revenue collection revealed.
Best in worst counties
yes.
in revenue collection.
Yes, control of budget. Margaret Nyakango has revealed the best and the worst performing counties in ONSO's revenue collection in her latest report. Just to give you a hint, okay? Nyeri, Narok, Isiolo, Samburu counties recorded best performance. Just so that you know. Okay? Yes, now the others is wako tu.
Okay. Tuko na Nairobi and pia iko na vitu kadhaa. The big one is why the church is unhappy with Ruto. Provost Sami Wainaina, ex-provost, preaches of ruling class that doesn't seem to care about the depressing situation in the country, joining other clergy concerned over the apparent indifference of those in power to Wananchi's woes. Is Kasarani, where people plunge to death, jinxed? Many cases of mysterious deaths have been coming out of this Kasarani area.
2 in this last week.
Imagine. Just like that. IG Kome rejects peer pressure to marry second wife and shift to Karen.
What?
Sorry?
IG Kome, Inspector General of Police Engineer Japheth Kome, he was recently speaking to his fellow officers, his officers, and he was just giving them advice and telling them, look, I have been told by people, marry a second wife. I mean, you're now the IG. I've said, I've been told, go to the leafy suburbs of Karen. I've said,
oh, now
I've been told to drive big cars. I've said,
because the headline it sounds like there's already a second wife and he has refused to marry her and move with her to Karen. That's what it sounds like.
You never know.
Isn't that what you said, huh?
You never know.
No.
You never know. It's also very likely.
Okay.
Rejects peer pressure to marry second wife and move to Karen. Maybe the people who came had a wife, a candidate.
India. Or there's somebody
and a home.
Or there's somebody who is a girlfriend and he's yet to make her a wife and move with her to Karen.
You know, possibilities abound here.
I'm telling you, the way the headline is structured, it can be anything.
Tupatie mambo ya traffic. Tafadhali. Mambo ya IG wachana nayo.
What?
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Akuna, as in there's none. There's no traffic. Everybody has left, except for the folks who are trying to go somewhere and they're going towards Landis Road. You see, it even says booking office. People are looking for vehicles to go places. So Haile Selassie is crazy, in and outbound. It's been that way for a week and it's likely to continue that way well into the weekend. And then we're seeing the spillover from Landis. Quite a number of folks trying to get into bus station. You know why also? There's a bunch of, what are they called? Public service vehicles that go crisscross the country, and a lot of the head offices are right here on Haile Selassie going towards the Kamkunji roundabout. In case you're wondering, I've been duly informed that this is the issue and folks are trying to get people traveling. Anywhere else in the city this morning, we do not see traffic at all. Coming off the Thika Superhighway, the Northern Bypass, Kiambu Road, Limuru Road in from Muthaiga, Spring Valley in from Lower Kabete, Westlands on Wayaki Way. People are moving and getting where they're going in quick time. So we'll keep an eye on things and see how Friday develops, getting into a very busy weekend. And we'll let you know. You help us out as well in terms of what you see, where you might be stuck, or where you find a good route. And let's talk on SpiceFM, KE on X.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Learners in primary, junior high get reduced workload. It was announced yesterday. Learners to primary and junior school will start the new academic calendar in January with a reduced workload following a reorganization of their curriculum by the Ministry of Education. All right. Right now, there are 8 subjects. This will also come as a relief to parents who have complained that implementation of the competency-based curriculum is expensive and burdensome to learners. They will not only have fewer subjects, but also fewer lessons per day in the first major review of the TBC. Parents with children in private schools, which are not supported by the government, will now spend less on learning materials as a result of fewer subjects. The government will also purchase fewer textbooks for supply to public schools. So this is across board, public and private. Less subject, fewer classes, less workload. In communication to regional, county and sub-county directors of education, Basic Education Principal Secretary Belio Kipsang said some learning areas have been combined while others have been dropped. The changes follow recommendations of the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms that observed that the curriculum was overloaded for the learners and teachers. It asked the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development to rationalize the learning areas and curriculum designs in terms of scope, integration of subjects within learning area, gaps, content overload, and overlaps. Okay? Now, the Institute has recalled learning material for areas that had been rationalized. A reorganization curriculum was recommended by the party after stakeholders in the education sector expressed concerns that CBC content is overloaded, has overlaps, and is costly to parents. All this long story, they've not actually told us. Okay, yes, they have. Now, can I tell you?
Yes.
The number of learning areas for learners in pre-primary 1 and 2 will remain unaffected. There are 5 of them, as well as 25 lessons per week, so 5 lessons per day. That's what's happening in P2 and P1. The number of lessons per week for the learning areas of this level are language activities, mathematical activities, creative activities, environmental activities, and religious activities. Okay? Now, lower primary, which is grade 1 to 3, have been reduced from the current 9 to 7, and the number of lessons from 35 to 31 per week. So they were seeing 7 lessons in a day. This is going to come down to 6 lessons and a 1 extra on one day.
Okay.
Hygiene and nutrition activities, which previously were a standalone subject, have been integrated with environmental, movement, and creative activities, have been renamed creative activities, and will comprise art, craft, music, and physical education. Upper primary, grade 4 to 6, has the highest number of learning areas at 10, but this has now been reduced to 8. They will move from 40 lessons per week to now 35. So that means that instead of having 8 lessons a day, they will now have 7
lessons or subjects.
So taught lessons in a day, they would have 7.
Subjects,
7 classes.
Subjects remain the same.
Subjects remain so there's some overlap. So some have been collapsed and then combined with others. So because of they had 40 lessons per week. So if you look at a 5-day week, that meant that they had 8 lessons in a day.
It's always been 40.
Yeah. So now what they've done is that they've taken 1 down and it has gone to 35, making it 7 lessons per day. So this is for upper primary.
Are they longer?
No. They're 40 minutes. Every class still remains 40 minutes.
So what happens to the extra time?
That's a good question.
You know,
it's for outside. Yes. For
perhaps the integration, because here we see the integration of physical education more poignant now that they must go outside and do something.
Do you feel that the changes have been adequately explained?
No.
Not in the story.
Not in this story, but it's possible that from the ministry we'll get a further breakdown in terms of what exactly will happen and what these other subjects will be called and how they will be administered. My hope, just from the top of it now, is that what you've done is that you've collapsed some classes, especially in the lower grades, 1 to 3. Will you have adequate in terms of teachers to then look at each of those subjects, or are you going to do a combination whereby, because we know that grades 1 to 3 you have 1 teacher,
1 class teacher,
all subjects. Okay, when you get to grade 4 is now when you start to see specialty teachers. Exactly, subject teachers. So that will be interesting to see how this happens.
Okay.
You know, the thing that I fear, and I mean fear, is every time I see tinkering with the educational sector. And now when people are specific, it now comes to the hours that people are supposed to be taught, our students are supposed to be taught, and then the subject matter itself, the content, the number of subjects. Because when those subjects were first put in place, it was for a reason. They were supposed to be covered in the curriculum for a purpose, to achieve a certain end in the learning process of the student. So when you make a change, what then are you actually communicating? What are you saying? Okay? Are you saying that you've thought it through and you perhaps think that what you had initially intended
was not working?
What was overstated, it was unnecessarily burdensome.
Or you didn't take into consideration a number of things. Yeah.
And now that you're taking into hence the question about the explanation. But again, let's look into the explanation from the ministry.
Well, the first thing they've said is that they've taken on the recommendations from the Working Party. And some of the issues that came up was that, number one, there was a high workload on these children. Number two is that parents were overburdened because it was an expensive feat for them in terms of what was going on. And then there were long hours that children were in school, started class at 8, classes go until 3 o'clock. And then they come home and they have at least 2 subjects for which to do homework, in addition to projects for CBC.
But you know, the question is, how different is it from the 844 system?
It's a good question.
Because children used to wake up as early as even 4 or 5, go to school,
Children
stay up
are leaving
late.
home at 5 o'clock.
Yes, so I'm simply saying that the explanations they are giving don't make sense.
They're not adequate.
Especially when you look at the background of the 844 system and what was then considered the burden that the children were bearing and the parents were also bearing.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, the education sector is not a sector you want to keep stabbing in the dark with or for. Clarity is important. If there's
necessary.
logic behind what the decisions they've made, it needs to be explained properly. If they need to come out, explain it, take whatever ad they need in the paper to write it down so we understand exactly what they're saying, so be it. So that it isn't a reporting matter where we'll miss out on certain things. Because this is important.
True.
Yes.
True.
The Business Daily has a news in-depth story today. Tuju's legal fight with lender enters a new year. This drama has been on for a long time. And they say it all started in April 2015 when Dari Limited, a company linked to former Jubilee Party Secretary General Raphael Tuju, sought a loan from a regional bank to acquire and develop a property in Karen. $9.3 million was the loan, and it has since ballooned to more than 2.7 billion shillings. Although the exact amount due is contested by the East African Development Bank and Dari Limited. The money was meant for the purchase of a 20-acre piece of land and development of housing and hospitality facilities. The loans, according to evidence filed in court, were for the purchase of a 94-year-old bungalow built by a Scottish missionary, Albert Patterson, which currently operates as a high-end restaurant, and the construction of 100 million two-story flat-roofed bungalows sitting on a 2-acre forested land dubbed Entim Sidai. Have you been to Entim Sidai?
No.
My friend, you should go there.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, man. It's a lovely place. In the deal, the company was given a 24-month grace period, and the repayment fell due in 2017, and since then, Tuju and the regional lender have been embroiled in a court fight over the last 4 years. In total, 7 cases on the same subject matter have been filed in various courts, starting at the High Court in January 2020 to the Supreme Court, where the matter is pending determination. The case, which was initiated in London in June 2019, has also found its way to the East African Court of Justice as Tuju contested the outcome of the matter, as in it's all over. It's in the UK, it's here, it's in the Supreme Court, it's in the East African Court of Justice, it's everything. Evidence tabled in court shows that Dari Limited entered into an agreement with the EADB in April 2015. The loan was advanced in July 2015. When Dari failed to service the loan, the bank issued a demand for immediate repayment and soon filed a suit in the UK against the company and the guarantors. The guarantors are Mr. Tuju, his children Mano, Alma, Waima, and SM Company Limited. In a judgment in 2019, Judge Daniel Toledano of the High Court of Justice, Business and Property Courts of England and Wales entered summary judgment against Dari and the guarantors, jointly and severally, for 2.34 billion shillings. He said, pay them. To enforce the decision, the bank moved to the High Court for recognition of the judgment. This High Court now of ours. The decision was adopted in 2020 as provided under the Foreign Judgment Reciprocal Enforcement Act. Dari filed an application before the High Court for setting aside the UK judgment, but that was rejected, and the matter escalated to the Supreme Court. Tuju claims buyers, arguing that Michael Sullivan, who represented the bank, and Justice Toledano, who presided over the matter, shared a chamber.
Sorry, what?
Shared a chamber.
Oh, that's what we're calling it these days.
At some point, they work together.
They shared a chamber.
All right. So you're working together in Wache? Okay, so I'll share the chamber.
That claim was rejected.
So they didn't share chamber?
It was rejected. Chamber, which chamber?
All right, let's move forward without the chamber now.
Chamber. The former cabinet secretary unsuccessfully fought the enforcement judgment up to the Court of Appeal, arguing that EADB frustrated efforts to have other lenders, including KCB and equity investors, make the property profitable. While rejecting this argument, the Court of Appeal judges said Tuju and EADB voluntarily chose to subject themselves to the laws of England, and the judgment cannot be set aside merely because it was erroneous. Tuju then moved to the Supreme Court and temporarily suspended the seizure pending the determination of his application at the Apex Court. He is arguing that EADB only disbursed 932 million shillings instead of the agreed 943.9 million shillings.
Shillings or dollars?
Shillings. 943 million.
Okay.
Close to a billion.
Okay.
And he says that they also reneged on the plan to offer 294 million for building luxury homes for sale. The bank directly paid 932.7 million to the owner of the 94-year-old bungalow sitting on 20 acres and demanded that Tuju provide additional security for the construction of the bungalows. So they paid that guy 900 million shillings.
20 acres in Mingi.
In Karen?
No, Mingi. Mingi. That thing is bang on the road. Naiko Forest.
Having failed to disburse the balance of 10.4 million shillings and further 294 million, the first defendant inevitably experienced cash flow challenges, said Tuju. He says, you see now, I came for a loan to buy this land
and
to develop these houses so that I can sell the houses and repay the loan. You only gave me the money for buying the house. In fact, for buying the land.
You paid the guy.
You paid the guy. Now me, I'm here bila cash. The same way I walked into your bank.
It's the same way
I am now. Muna expect ni jenga ina meno. Like sasa hiyo ni shida. Hiyo inatuhusu aje? Haituhusu?
Wanaongea mbaya.
Haituhusu? So that matter is now pending in the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, that dream.
It's a pipe one.
That place is beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I'll go.
Very nice.
Is it operating?
I don't know whether in Tim Sidai is still operating. It's a spa.
Voilà.
There's a spa there. Okay. Yeah, at Tim Sidai. But it's beautiful. The land, the old bungalow house, and the lush green gardens and the grown trees.
Trees.
It's a beautiful place.
Mingi.
It's a beautiful place. Alikuwa ameona mbele. Alikuwa ameona mbele. So if you went there and you found a house and it's 100 million shillings, and you've just struck a deal, you wekelea 100 million shillings very fast. Very fast. Anyway, wish him all the best. City.
Yes, please.
Tell us a story.
Right. Interesting thing as we head towards the end of the year. These best and worst countries, forget about it. Not going to talk about it.
Okay.
Let them do what they're doing.
Right.
Yep. Country, as in Kenya.
Yes.
To be segregated into 4 regions to end power outages.
Okay.
Oh, that's the future plan.
Well, that's what is written here. Nationwide blackout.
Okay.
This is a story by a gentleman by the name of Luke Awich. The government is now planning to divide the country into 4 regions in a bid to arrest the frequent power blackouts. Okay? The country has in recent months been hit by unprecedented power outages. Not really. Paralyzing operations in critical areas like airports. The outages have impacted negatively on the country's economy. While appearing before the National Assembly Energy Committee on Wednesday, Energy Cabinet Secretary said they have short-term measures that would ensure the country is not thrown into darkness in the near future. The ministry will be involved in segregating, islanding and burdening of the transmission and generation networks into 4 regions to ease offloading power and elimination of outages. I've understood nothing there, but let's go on. The measures, which will cost 463 million, will be rolled out within 90 days. The first phase will comprise of coastal counties, followed by Mount Kenya, Seven Forks, Nairobi region, while the third component will be rolled out in Olkaria, Central Rift and Nairobi. According to the CS, the fourth region earmarked for the multi-million shilling intervention will comprise Western, Northern, South Rift as well as Nyanza. All this is expected to be completed by 31st March 2024.
2024, this one that's coming?
Everything, yes, this coming year.
Construction, chap 2020.
90 days, 90 days.
It's a 90-day program, eh?
Yeah, 90-day program. So short term, we thank you. We will wait. We will wait. Okay?
Okay.
It is not far.
You know, having listened to the MD of Kenya Power explain it slowly more than once, you sort of get a picture of what he's talking about. He worked at Ketraco before. He rose to Kenya Power boss. So the transmission, and the grid and the way it is, and the challenges that it has, those are things that everybody knows. We just hope that this time they can get it done. Remember, he had also said that one of the ideas would be going to PPP. Let somebody set up a transmission line and they maintain and manage it. And then part of the power purchase agreement, Ketraco is still paid. So that company is paid for their investment.
Yeah.
And so you're getting transmission lines erected across the country very fast. No cash strain on the exchequer, and you have your power stabilized quickly. So 2 private firms have lined up power transmission line and substation projects worth 187 billion under PPP agreements with the government, raising hopes of improving the country's shaky grid that's been blamed for frequent outages. National Treasury disclosures show that Africa 50 and Adani Energy Solutions Limited are proposing to put up 237 kilometers and 388 kilometers of high voltage power lines, respectively. Meskia hiyo?
Yes. No.
Adani is also lining up 3 substations at Thurdibuoro in Kisumu. Have I pronounced it right?
Yes, Thurdibuoro. You pronounced it very well.
Very good. Lesos in Nandi and Rongai in Kajiado. The projects have been presented by the 2 companies as privately initiated proposals, PIPs, an arrangement provided for under PPP, which allows the government to benefit from the knowledge and innovative ideas of the private sector. Churchill recently said the government would be leaning on the private sector to put up power transmission lines. Ndio hizo sasa zimeanza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Answers my question, though.
Which one?
It'll cost money, but this one, that 400 is just a side. If a solution is found and it involves the private sector, so be it. The only thing is, one would very much like to see the details of the understanding between the government and these private individuals.
So we don't come into those questions of, are they paid exorbitantly high?
Are they in dollars? Are they in what? Are they in which?
charging
Because
us
those are questions we should ask.
Yeah.
Right now, haven't we been battling with these same things with the independent power producers?
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly. So a little understanding of what those contracts are about would be good.
Would be very good,
yes,
actually. So huge gaps rock Kenya's healthcare system despite push to attain UHC. This is the thing that we've asked every time, that on paper, UHC as a plan, even with the institution of agencies' funds. That the infrastructure of health today is the thing that is going to guarantee that UHC is delivered. It's not the plan. It's not the fund being set up. It is the health infrastructure in the country at the moment. And this is what we're looking at now, that President William Ruto is pushing, obviously, and everybody's pushing for health to be universal in terms of its coverage. But just a handful of hospitals have what it takes to offer quality services in line with that ambitious agenda. A new report by the Kenya Health Facility Census notes a paltry 7% of hospitals are ready to meet the aspirations of the crafters of UHC, which came into being following the signing of 4 bills by President Ruto in October. Now, these are the ones I'm speaking of. The Primary Healthcare Act, the Digital Health Act, the Facility Improvement Financing Act, and the Social Health Insurance Act. The report also revealed that only 6% of hospitals in the country have pharmaceutical services. The data on the state of hospitals in Kenya was collected in 12,384 public and private hospitals. The report, released by none other than Health CS Susan Nahumicha, yesterday says maternity is the most affected, with less than half of the 902 hospitals offering comprehensive maternal services. The report will help us in achieving UHC, she says. She says, so this report is a good thing, because then from this, we now know what we need to do to guarantee, because what UHC guarantees is that you walk into any health facility at whatever level, clinic, dispensary, level 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you will get whatever you need. Now, what we are being told is that only 7% of all the hospitals in the country today
have whatever you need.
So, how will you deliver this thing? Nahumicha says, no problem. It's good, because now with that,
now we know what
to do. Now, whether it will be done, that's a whole different story. Lack of infrastructure and adequate human resources have been identified as the major hindrance to access of maternal care, for example, in Kenya. Lack of access to this is the main cause of maternal deaths, which stands at 365 deaths per 10,000 live births, according to the Kenya Demographic Health Survey. So it talks about maternal health quite some. It also then talks about pediatric care, and it also then talks about specialized care when you're dealing with disease burden of cancer and then non-communicable diseases. Big work to be done here. Will UHC be delivered on the current platform? Unfortunately, the answer is no.
I'm wondering, should this report not have come before even the launch of UHC?
Yes.
You know, because right now, what we've been told is that UHC kicks off in January.
Yes.
Next week, but one, we have UHC. And this is when they're getting a report that shows them, oh my God, you don't have pharmacies in hospitals, you don't have labs in hospitals, you have...
Is it possible to run UHC concurrently and then rehabilitate the healthcare system in terms of infrastructure? It is not. Because you will not be delivering UHC. You won't.
This is just okay. Anyway, smile. And because Colgate wants you to smile, Colgate is telling you tomorrow go to Naivas Greenspan Mall and you will get free dental checkups at Naivas Greenspan Mall. Courtesy of Colgate, 7 a.m. Good morning.
Spice up your life.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. A call has been made to Kenyans to use money for the intended goals this festive season and during the new year, remembering that there is school fees to be paid and the need to help the country in recovering the economy. John Juguna from Chirangani urged the government to reduce the cost of living so that it can be the New Year's gift to Kenyans.
Ningewaomba wa Kenya wakati huu wa Christmas wawe waangalivu, na pia tunataka amani. Vile vile wanaposherekea wakumbuke watoto, wasimalize pesa yote kwa mambo ya Christmas na raha. Maisha iko juu kidogo, wa Kenya wameumia. Mwaka mpya serikali ambayo iko ipunguze gharama ya maisha irudi chini, ndio hata wazazi waweze kupeleka watoto shule. Na pia vile vile nataka kuambia wanafunzi muwe na nidhamu wakati huu wa Christmas. Msijiingize kwa vitu ambao iwezi kuwasaidia. Mambo ya madawa ya kulevya na pia pombe haramu na mambo haya yote tuwaepuke kwa wazazi.
He has also encouraged couples to seek counseling when there are differences or when they are stressed in order to maintain a healthy family.
Tuwe na amani kwa maboma, tuwe na amani wa taifa na pahali popote ambao tulipo watu wakuwe na amani. Hiyo ndio mambo ambayo ningeambia Wakenya wakati wa Christmas. Watu wanawacha wengine na wengine wanaolewa. So tudumishe amani na upendo, muweke upendo kabisa. Hiyo ndio mambo ya muhimu. Kama vile vile Biblia inasema watu wapendane. Na kwa wale ambao hawana, wale mko naye mumpelekee wale hawana chochote.
Efforts to recover the body of a boy who drowned while swimming in a river in Migori County continues today. The 17-year-old boy had gone to the river with his friends to swim before he got overwhelmed and drowned. According to one of his friends, Rollins Ouma, there were 3 of them, although he was the only one who was overwhelmed by the waters and had drowned.
Tunapiga mbizi. Alikuwa napiga upande huu, mimi napiga upande mwingine. Alikuwa naogeleanga, lakini mimi napiganga mbizi peke yangu. Sitaki kuingia na mtu kwa maji. Pia yona siku moja tu ndio nisikia alishafuata mtu hapa akienda na boat kwa maji. Sasa mimi sijai muona akipiga mbizi. Sasa hizi watu wameshamfuata lakini wamerudi wa macha kidogo.
Cleophas Ogwela's father explains how he got information about his son's drowning.
Nilipigiwa simu na mzee wa kijiji, kaniuliza uko wapi? Nikamwambia niko town. Kaniambia kuna watoto walikuwa wanaogelea na ni kama maji imelemea kijana yako. Nikakimbia mahali hapo. Kufika au vijana wawili wenye walikuwa na yeye wametoka ndani ya maji. Nikawauliza, wakaniambia walikuwa wanaogelea 3 wakiteremka chini. Lakini huyo kijana yangu ni kama amelemewa na maji. Juu penye alienda ni kama maji ilikuwa inakimbia na nguvu.
Residents of Shandatown, Mumias East constituency, Kakamega County, killed 2 robbery suspects after their efforts to rob a trader in the area were thwarted. According to the chief of police in the area, Doris Chemosi, the 3 arrived at the shop and ordered the lady to give them all the money before she shouted at them, which attracted the area residents.
Ya kwamba watu 3 walijaribu kuingia duka fulani. So huyo mwenye duka baada anahojiwa ndio tupate report kamili ya kwamba ni nini haswa iliendelea hadi akapiga nduru. Ndio hao watu raia wakarespond. So wakati walihojiwa wakasema ni watu wa mbali. Sasa 2 tayari wameaga na wamepelekwa mochari Kakamega. But wanasema tu ya kwamba mmoja alikuwa na silaha na huyo mmoja ndiye ametoroka. But nasikia walikuja mapema. Wenyewe wanasema ya kwamba watu wamekaa kuanzia sana. Walikuwa hapo tu wanaonekana wako tu wamekaa mahali moja 3. So mmoja akitoka anapiga simu anarudi wanakaa mahali moja. The same 3 of them ndio walibamia huyo mama. Sasa mwenye anahojiwa na OCS ndiye anipea ripoti kamili ya kwamba ni nini haswa ilifanyika ndio ikafika mahali imefanyika hivyo.
Chemosi has warned the youth against getting involved in criminal activities this festive season, saying that they've launched a search for the suspect who is said to have escaped.
Tumeanzisha uchunguzi sasa hivi, DCI wetu wameanzisha hiyo uchunguzi na tunafuatilia mwenye alitoroka ya kwamba tukimpata atakuwa anafikishwa mahakamani wakati wote kuanzia sasa. Imefanyika ya mwendo wa saa 10:30. Yangu tu ni kwa vijana ya kwamba wasijihusishe kwa vitu ambavyo vitawaletea shida baadaye, na kwa wazazi wetu ya kwamba wakuwe waangalifu na wafuatilie tabia ya watoto wao, kwa sababu wale wameaga sasa ni vijana wadogo sana.
This is Newsworm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
Heavy traffic still continues on Haile Selassie this morning. Many highway operators in terms of PSVs on those roads, and so on that road particularly. And so folks trying to get in, out, it's crazy. In and outbound traffic on Haile Selassie will affect traffic that's coming in from Jogo Road as well as Lusaka Road this morning, and it already looks like it's starting to do just that. The Thika Superhighway, nothing. You'll be fine. Kiambu Road also follows in fine form, and Limburu Road is following in suit as well in terms of no traffic coming into the city and out of the city. Not going to be an issue today, it would appear. It's already 7 o'clock and we're not seeing a buzz. So I think that's what it's going to be. Let's keep an eye on things and how they develop through the morning. And we'll be here for it to let you know how things progress. Let's talk Spice FM, KE on X.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latif, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
7 minutes after 7. Good morning and welcome to the second hour of Kenya's biggest conversation. This is The Situation Room. Thank you very much for choosing us on Spice FM, on KTN Home, on YouTube, on Facebook. We are live streaming the show. Edna is asking you a question today, and she's asking you to tell us, what was your favorite conversation this year? Because we're taking a break from today. From Monday, we will not be here. We'll be back on the 8th of January 2024, God willing. But we'd like to be replaying some of the biggest conversations, audience choice, for the next 2 weeks. So we want you to go to our social media pages, SpiceFM on Facebook and on Twitter. And also you can post a comment on YouTube where we're live streaming the show. Tell us, what would you like to be replayed? What conversation would you like us to replay that has happened in 2020? Don't choose the ones for 2020, just for the 2023 year. Sindio, like that. It's important because, well, we're taking a break. As we go into this break, Maramoja Taxi would like to remind you that yes, they are the most reliable, safest, most trustworthy taxi hailing app in the country. The most cost effective as well. And you know one thing that we talked about, City, so we've talked about the Maramoja wallet, right? Load money onto the wallet and you immediately get a 50% bonus, right? That is number one. Number two, we've also talked about that you're able to get onto the Maramoja app and you can select a driver that you'd like to use, all right? You tap, you pair, you go. Tap, pair, go. And you can even make that driver your cab guy. So next time you want to use Maramoja, you just go and ask, is David around? Tell David to come and pick me tomorrow at 6.
Yeah, schedule it.
You can schedule it.
By the way,
with
you know
David.
how it actually works. You get onto the platform, you actually get a picture of the drivers and their vehicle and the details. And they also inform you how far away that person is.
Right.
Of course, they give you the details of the vehicle, the color, blah, 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 blah. And when you actually make the choice, the driver calls you immediately and asks whether you want to be picked up immediately or to state the time when you actually want to be picked up. And if you say you want to be picked up and they say, according to the GPS system, whatever it is, system they have, are you in this location? You say, yes, it's okay. I'm just confirming that you're in that location, so I will be there, and they give you the time they'll be there.
Beautiful.
Yes. So you actually have a conversation with them before they actually get to you.
It's a lovely thing, isn't it? The other thing that's very, very big, when we even had a conversation with the CEO, Ronald Mohondo, and Michelle Midi, who's the digital manager, they told us about the SOS button on the app. On the app itself, there's an SOS button. Now, if you're in the cab and there's an issue, you just press the SOS button. Maramoja Taxis has teamed up with the best rescue services operators in the country, and they will then get in touch with you, find out what the problem is, and come to your rescue. If maybe the vehicle is broken down, come to your rescue. If there's an issue in the vehicle and you just press the SOS button, they'll call you back. If you don't want to talk, you can just leave the phone on and they'll hear what's happening and they'll know, okay, this is distress. Also, you don't have to be in a Maramoja taxi to actually use the SOS button. Wherever you are and you need some rescue service, you need some SOS, you can actually just tap the button. They will call you back and ask you, what's the problem? Tell them, maybe I'm at home, somebody is sick, I need emergency ambulance services, they'll dispatch it to you. Maybe you're somewhere, your car is stuck, you're using your own vehicle, and your vehicle is broken down, they'll send rescue. They'll sort you out. The SOS button is a very, very good thing. That's why we say Maramoja is Kenyan. It's been made with Kenya in context. So, getting into the school fees, Ndu?
I know. Go to the shop for me, would you, Eric? And Kiwi says you can go to the shop too. You're going to be doing your shopping. Take the little one, why not? You're going to be doing your shopping, isn't it? And one of the things that you think about in terms of what you need to, ought to buy, okay, it's rugby happening in here, is supplies for school, right? And you're thinking about school fees and you're thinking, oh my goodness, how are we actually going to make it happen come January? Well, Kiwi says, we got you. What you need to do, walk into the supermarket, walk into your Duka, get a tin of your favorite Kiwi polish with the new logo, buy one of those, and then you're going to pop the lid. Under the lid is a code. Then you will dial *459*5# and input that information instantly, airtime or data. And then you also get a chance to enter into a draw. Every week, 4 people are winning 35,000 shillings. It goes directly towards school fees, making January just a little easier.
Oh, yes, indeed. And so you can now eat over this period properly.
Eat properly.
Knowing that, but now eating properly, where our next guest here is coming to tell us, eat properly but carefully, responsibly. Jacqueline Kathami is a nutritionist at AA Hospital. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Kenya's Biggest Conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm well. Yes.
We're going to be eating.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Yes.
But you just want us to eat responsibly.
Eat right.
And to eat right.
Yes.
And to be aware of what we're eating.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you're eating a whole goat, eat a leaf, please.
Whenever you hear being told
eat right.
Have you been told to eat vegetables?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Eat a leaf with your goat.
Well, not necessarily on eating vegetables and leaves. You can have your portion of ugali, you can have your portion of the beef, the chicken, whichever one you're having. If you love the fish, you can also have it, but just eat it right.
Portion.
When vegetables are mentioned, there's no portion.
There's no portion.
Technically, for the vegetables,
yeah, portion.
The vegetables do have portion sizes also. Yes.
Okay. You'll tell us about it. Jacqueline, this week, apart from yesterday, we've been doing Christmas carols. So Ndu told us from Jamhuri Day, we start counting 12 days of Christmas. They're supposed to end on Sunday or Monday.
Christmas Day.
Supposed to end on Christmas Day.
We should have started the day after Jamhuri, but hey.
It's okay. Should have started then. All right. So wherever we are going to do all our 12
no matter
today.
What. Yes.
Sindio?
And be done with it.
You lead us into singing.
So we're all going to do it this time. Okay? Everybody knows what they're supposed to do.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 turtle doves.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
3 French hens.
2 turtle doves.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
4 calling birds.
3 French hens.
2 turtle doves.
And a partridge in a palm tree. Pear tree.
On the fifth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
She gave me 5 golden rings.
5 golden rings.
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds.
3 French hens.
2 turtle doves.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Well done. On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 6 geese a-laying.
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds.
3 French hens.
2 turtle doves.
Teach him how to do the golden rings.
5 golden rings. Say, repeat after me. 5 golden rings. Very good.
Okay, so start at 7.
Okay.
Just
On
at
the
6.
7th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
7 swans are swimming.
6 geese a laying.
5.
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds.
3 French hens.
2 turtle doves.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
On the 8th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
8 maids are milking.
7 swans are swimming.
6 geese a laying.
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds.
3 French hens.
2 turtle doves.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
On the 9th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
9 ladies dancing.
8 maids are milking.
7 swans are swimming.
6 geese a laying.
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds.
3 French hens.
2 turtle doves.
Oh, sorry. And a partridge in a pear tree.
On the 10th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 10 lords a leaping.
9 ladies dancing.
8 maids are milking.
7 swans are swimming.
6 geese a laying.
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds.
3 French hens.
2 turtle doves.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
11 pipers piping.
10 lords a leaping.
9 ladies dancing.
8 milking birds. Sorry.
Yes,
8 maids are milking.
7 swans are swimming.
6 geese a laying.
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds.
3 French hens.
2 turtle doves.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
And on the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
12 drummers drumming.
11 pipers piping.
10 lords a leaping.
9 dancing ladies.
8 maids are milking.
7 swans are swimming.
6 geese a laying.
5 golden rings.
4 calling birds.
3 French hens.
2 turtle doves.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Amen.
Nice.
Yes, you like
The golden goods. So
it happened eventually.
5 rings are golden. City, just remind us today's proverb.
Okay, yes, sir. Bahati ki kukataa. Our proverbs for the whole of this week have been from the country of Kenya, the delightful, wonderful country of Kenya. Kenya nchi ya ajabu.
Kabisa.
Na maajabu mengi.
Sana.
Okay, and our final proverb is in Kiswahili. Bahati ikikukataa hata kwa mganga haitafaa.
Bahati ikikukataa
imekukataa kabisa
hata kwa mganga haitafaa. Jacqueline, what do you think the Kenyans are saying with this proverb?
Bahati ikikukataa hata kwa mganga
haitafaa.
Haitafaa. That's a tough one. In this essence, I will say the luck that you're having as Kenyans, be it social-wise, be it financial-wise, be it health-wise, we all have to just give glory to God for everything. But if your luck runs out, then you're definitely in trouble. But I don't think you can run out of luck.
Okay. Luck here, I think, is synonymous with blessings, correct?
Yes. And the Lord is never short of blessings.
That I'm told, and yes, I'm told they're new every morning.
Definitely.
Yes.
Edna has a new version of that proverb. He imeenda. He imeenda. Okay.
Right.
Jacqueline, Who's a nutritionist? First of all, it's very important for us to understand. Who's a nutritionist?
Well, a nutritionist is anyone who's gone through the training, specifically pertaining to diet, and has received the necessary training school-wise and has been licensed to practice as a nutritionist, as a dietitian. Various institutions within the country do offer the course. KMTC being one of them, where I am privileged to have been a student from. We have Kenyatta University, Nairobi University. So it's a rigorous training that you go through to be able to understand how food upon ingestion is able to be absorbed and then utilized by our body.
So what do they teach you? Balanced diet, the end?
Not really. There are different units. You have the nutrient interaction, nutrient-drug interaction. So there's a little bit of pharmacology, organic chemistry, a little bit of business, and the aspect of medicine in itself. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So why is it important for one to observe nutrition?
On a day-to-day basis, we do utilize energy in form of the calories that we're burning. To take a simple walk, a flight of stairs, you utilize energy. But then if you do not have enough stores or reserves in your system, you definitely get depleted and your energy levels are affected, your mood is affected, your hormones levels are affected. And in this essence, nutrition comes into play the role of helping you to be able to be well nourished. Yes.
Oftentimes when we think of nutrition, we think from the extremes, right? When you are overweight into obese and you need to cut back, when you are not even underweight, but when you look at malnourished children, that's when you think, okay, nutrition here is lacking. And in fact, for malnourished children, just thinking they need food. Nutrition, balancing it, just give them something to eat. Why should somebody who feels okay bother about their nutrition?
Thank you so much. When it comes to the physical lookout, I could look at you and tentatively say you're well nourished. Someone might look at me and tentatively say that I'm well nourished. But then when we get into the parameters of the assessment, which can be anthropometric and biochemical, then you might find that you're malnourished or I'm malnourished. Just by the aspect of looking at one being overweight or obese, and you sort of judge that this person is malnourished. But then when you speak about malnutrition, in most cases, people will tend to go towards the underweight and the kwashiorkor marasmus aspect. Very few will go into the aspect of being overweight and being obese. But then there is also the middle spectrum, whereby this person looks well nourished. But when you look at their biochemical parameters, they are not well nourished in the aspect of they've got more fat deposition, they've got much more cholesterol, and you might find one who's slightly obese, but their muscle composition is more than their fat composition. And looking at this person, they are healthier than the one who looks skinny, but they've got a higher fat composition. So it's not just on the basis of I look at you and you're underweight, you're malnourished. I also have to go the further step of assessing you.
So what's that balance of fat, muscle, and the rest, and bone?
Similar to genetics, everyone's body composition is different. On my end, for example, if one was to look at me 3 months ago, you'd say that I'm well nourished. But at the time, I wasn't. Physically, I looked fine, but due to a little bit of stress of work and life, I was a bit overwhelmed. And my lab works were not the very best, so I was malnourished. And I had to take the initiative of now getting to improve.
You looked okay.
I looked okay.
But the lab was telling us different story.
Yes.
What was lacking?
At the moment, I was lacking a little bit of the protein in my system. I had sort of being a nutritionist, getting to advise people I have been privileged to have worked in the setup of low income and high income. So in the low income setup, you'll find that the day-to-day meals of a person, they just comprises of carbohydrates. So they are not well nourished in the aspect of protein, energy, malnutrition. Moving to the city setup, I got the fast lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's all about the fast foods, fast meals, and getting to do the meal preps. So once in a while, you're tempted to also go and binge eat a little bit of the fast foods. So I decided to do a little experiment of myself. And so that as I'm giving the advice to my clients, I'll be able to be giving it from somehow research perspective on my end. And at this point, I went sort of on intermittent fasting of basically just veggies and carbs. But then I would incorporate a little bit of the plant-based proteins, which is usually just like 35% protein and 75% carbohydrate. And after 3 months, I did the lab works and they were not the very best. And upon evaluation, my mood had changed, my energy levels were not the very best. And now from that essence, I was able to now give the guidance to the clients that this works for other people, but this might not work for you. Because unlike medicine where you have a headache and you take the Maramoja or the Panadol and you're set, when it comes to nutrition, it's individualized. Your gut microbiota determines your composition. It determines how your mood and your growth hormones and your setup is going to be.
Your gut what?
Your gut microbiota.
What is that?
It's on the lining of your intestinal wall. There is the aspect of the good and the bad bacteria. So now that's the microbiota. Yes.
Okay.
So it's individualized.
It's individualized.
How do you know yours? How do I know mine?
You will have to undergo the necessary test. So, for example, if I were to take your weight, your height, and your age, I'll get your BMI. But then your BMI is not enough to tell me. Before, it was enough to say that you're overweight, you're underweight, you're normal. But then when you do the lab works, especially something like the lipid profile, that's your cholesterol levels, your H1C, that's your sugar levels, your UECs, that's your kidney levels, your kidney workup levels. Upon doing this, we'll be able now to ascertain whether your kidneys are functioning well, your liver is functioning well, and whether or not we also tentatively might do a stool and a urine to be able to ascertain whether or not your gut is well. Now, going further, nutrition has advanced in the aspect of now we are incorporating the body composition analysis, because for the nutritional aspect being individualized per patient, you need to consume this amount of calories depending on your activity factor and how much energy you're utilizing. So now with the incorporation of the body composition, it's able to ascertain, like you've said, your bone percentage, your muscle percentage, your fat percentage. So based on this, it's also able to calculate how many calories you're burning while at rest. And factoring in your physical activity and your day-to-day activities, you're now able to come up with a diet that's able to now guide you so that you're not overweight, you're not overeating, and you're not undereating. Yeah.
Okay. Most times when you're like, so here we are, and we're basically saying you can be guided. We usually let everything go when you're in a, it's a festive period. One of the things that we do when food is the one thing that brings people together, isn't it? Yeah. And that you celebrate with it. So then how can you mind to body, mind over matter kind of thing? How can you even start to think, okay, I'm not, when the goat is before me, I'm not thinking about, what did you call that thing?
Microbiota.
Yeah. I'm not thinking about the microbiota at that point.
Going into the festive season, most people, you'll find that you've come from, take it from January. You've got your resolutions. I want to lose this amount of weight. I want to live healthy. You're okay, the first week, I want to be exercising 3 times a day, 3 times a week, this number of times, I want to be going on these hikes. So you've set up sort of this new bucket list for the year. Some will pull through all the way to maybe the first week, the second week, and by Feb, they're like, no, this is too much. And you're tempted once in a while. You're like, I've been working the whole month, so wacha nirudishie mwili shukrani niambie pole. Which in some cases is understandable, but it comes down to how you yourself have disciplined yourself. Because it's all about the mindset. Yes, that goat is there. That chicken is there. That fish is there. But then you know yourself more than anyone else. Probably for the married, the wife knows the husband much more, but I don't know on that perspective. But on an individual basis, you know yourself more. So in this aspect, if you've been on follow-up at the hospital, maybe for a certain condition diagnosis, or you've been on the healthy lifestyle change, at this point it's your discipline and your diligence that's going to drive you. And you will find that if you've been on the fast track of the very unhealthy lifestyle and now you're back to the good lifestyle, you wouldn't want to go back to where you're from. So I would say it's all about the discipline and the diligence. Yeah.
Let's take a break. We'll continue the conversation shortly. It's 28 minutes to 8. Jacqueline Kathomi is a nutritionist at AAR Hospital. She's here to advise us about this holiday season. We are going to be binge eating and binge drinking. And she's saying, eat right, drink right.
Drink right.
Yes. Kunywa maji.
Uzima.
Ukimaliza. That song by Sauti Sol. Or is it? It's Aaron Rimbui and that guy of Sauti Sol. Bien. Yeah. You've heard of Naivas, right? So you've heard of Naivas? Yeah, very good. Now, Naivas have 101 stores countrywide. Did you know that?
No.
101 stores. And each store is unique. And that's why they call it Naivas Kiloko, because each store is localized to the people in that area. Now, there's the Kikwetu Festival by Naivas and the Kikwetu Fiesta by Naivas, which they're saying, all right, it's the holiday season, it's all about Kikwetu Fiesta. Everything that you have to look at, and you see the very many things you can go and buy at Naivas Kikwetu Fiesta, okay, for the Christmas season. It's a lot of information that you can get if you listen to the Spice Drive this afternoon with Edward Quach, and there's a chance to win and win big with Naivas Kikwetu Fiesta. Naivas Kiloko is the way to think. It's the way to go. Righty? Let's take that break. We'll be back shortly. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Is safety your top priority when traveling in a taxi? Look no further. Introducing the Maramoja Taxi app, the safest and most convenient way to get around town. Whether you're headed to work, a night out, or just running errands, Maramoja Taxi app has you covered. With Maramoja Taxi app, every time you top up your wallet, you get 50% more. What are you waiting for? Download the Maramoja Taxi app and use the code SPICE30 to get 30% discount on your next ride. Ride smart with Maramoja Taxi app. Maramoja ni yetu.
Oh, finally! It's my Standard Courier delivery.
At Standard Courier, we know that your time is valuable. That's why we guarantee swift and efficient deliveries to your doorstep every time. Give us a call on 0793 599 684 or schedule your next delivery by visiting our website www.standardmedia.co.ke/courier. Trust Standard Courier service for all your courier needs. We deliver with pride.
some very nice, mature music.
They really take me back to my days, and I can just feel it.
In Nairobi, we'll see highs of 24 and lows of 16. 14 will be the low in a partly sunny Nakuru, and 14 will be the low in a partly sunny Nyeri, going to highs of 24. Eldoret is 14 and sunny with highs of 25, and into a mostly sunny Mombasa at 26, highs of 31, and 32 will be the high in a mostly sunny Malindi at 27. All right, into Kisumu, it's sunny at 20 with highs of 30, and 30 will be the high in a mostly sunny Kakamega at 17. All right, now we're looking into Kampala, where it's cloudy at 20, highs of 29, and Dar es Salaam with highs of 31 and partly sunny conditions at 27. Then as we look into Johannesburg, it's cloudy at 19 with highs of 30, and we'll go to highs of 32 in a sunny Mogadishu at 27. It's 12 degrees and sunny in Addis Ababa with highs of 23, and 33 will be the high in a hazy Lagos at 24. Kinshasa is mostly clear at 23. We'll see highs of 32 and lows of 23.
Chilled Spice.
All right, traffic not an issue this morning, in and out of the city real quick. Haile Selassie will keep having issues, and it's spilling over towards Landis this morning. Quite a number of folks looking for that public transport to get out of the city. That's what's been happening for the last couple of days, and looks like it'll get crazier so even as we get into it, into this weekend. All right, coming off of Jogo Road and getting to the city stadium roundabout, that is also starting to take off some of what is going on Landis. Into the city, though, you're not having a problem coming off of Thika Superhighway, even at that Pangani underpass with a perennial hold-up. That's not happening this Friday. Limu Road is also looking good as you're coming out of Westlands. We'll see that we will not have any issues, at least not for now. Keeping an eye on things through the morning SpiceFM KE on X.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. Again. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Mall again.
Greenspan.
In
Donholm.
Very good. What's happening there?
So on the 23rd and 24th, that is tomorrow, and the day after that, then Christmas Eve, Colgate is having free dental checkups, clinics. How do you want to call them? Like that. Where you can go in and check the state of your smile. Yes, and make sure that everything is okay, even as you go ahead to eat that Christmas good. Right? So come out. Our friends at Vibes Radio will be there on the 23rd and 24th, coming out to just make sure that everything is tip-top shape as concerns your smile. And then they're going to do it again the next weekend at the Naivas Burupuru, where Colgate will also be there together with our friends from Vibes Radio, making sure again that even as you go into the new year, your smile is intact.
Totally. Jacqueline Kathomi, a nutritionist at AAR Hospital, is here to advise us about eating right over this Christmas period. So you've given us the background. So when it comes to eating right, how should I know what's eating right?
Thank you so much. On this aspect, you look into, I call it a triangle. On the far corner, take it on the appropriate calories.
Corner, left or
From
right?
where?
So it's a triangle.
Okay.
So sort of like invert it.
So we invert the triangle.
So on this corner, on this corner,
the right corner.
On the right corner, take appropriate calories. On the left, take appropriate macronutrients. And then on the middle, at the bottom, take appropriate micronutrients. So for the calories, it's the whole plate.
Okay.
For the macronutrients, that's your carbohydrates, that's your protein, and that's your fats. So your carbohydrates, that's your ugali, your chapati, your rice, your matoke. For the proteins, that's your meat, that's your beef, that's your kuku choma, that's your mbuzi choma.
Pork.
And then, exactly.
That's good.
And then on the bottom, now that's your fats. Now you want to have the good fats, where you can get either from the nuts, from the olives, or even avocado.
Avocado.
What's the other name for it?
Guacamole.
Avocado. Magunagui.
That's a lie.
No, it is.
Mago what?
Magunangui. Or like we call it at home, matosi.
There you go. See?
That's avocado.
It's avocado.
Yes.
Not on the cado. Eh?
So you want to have
You wait
a
until
balance.
Edna tells us what they call it.
Eh.
You wait. She'll find out. Go on. So this
at
is where you
this
get the
point-
fats.
Yes, that's where you get
From
the fats.
nuts.
Olives, your avocado.
Okay.
So you want to have a balance of all of them. You don't want to overdo on one aspect because they all play a vital role in helping out in your body system. So if you overeat on your carbs, you'll tend to now eat a little on your protein. If you overeat on your protein, and in most cases, the proteins, some of them do contain the bad fat, especially the animal protein.
What is bad fat?
Now, the bad fat is the type of cholesterol that sort of clogs your arteries. So you want to have a minimal intake of that.
Example?
Cheese, the meats themselves.
Animal fats.
Animal fats.
They're bad.
Yes, that's the bad fat.
Eh.
So you want to have a small amount of it.
Okay.
If you've ever gone for a checkup, especially if you do...
You look at me as though I've never gone for a
No,
checkup.
no.
She's sure that you have.
Okay, when did you last have your last wellness checkup done?
A couple of months ago.
A couple of months. If it was less than 6 months ago, I would advise for another one.
You know those things cost?
Yes.
Okay.
But you
Okay.
can speak with your doctor and get to tailor make it as to how the test you want done. For example, at AAR, our wellness checkup, you can get it for as low as 10,000. And that's so many tests and consultation and some medication on top of that.
And what are you looking for essentially? Because I'm trying to play this off of, so we've been eating for years, right? And then every time there's a festive period, we add some more eating on top of that, isn't it? And then most times overindulging in things that you wouldn't normally have. And so now adding on top of, the burden on the body. So if we say get a checkup, what are we looking for? Are we just trying to make sure that everything is okay? But what will we be looking for?
When you go in for a wellness checkup, it's going to make sure that everything is okay. When we come into the month of October, we encourage ladies to go for the breast mammogram exams. So that's to ensure that they probably don't have cancer. And if you do, it's detected early. For the men, when we come to November, it's all about the prostate. Now, when it comes to December, some people usually set it aside to have their complete wellness checkup. And this will help to now ensure that even as you're going into the festive mood, as you're eating right, your body is well. You'll definitely take in your car to the mechanic for a tune-up once in a while. So it's about time we also start tuning up our bodies. Yes.
City, what is it?
What you're saying makes a lot of sense. Especially when you give the vehicle analogy. Because we will repair our cars, even if it costs. We'll bite our tongue and frown, but we'll repair it. Because we want it to keep moving.
Yes.
I'm eating my own words because I'm the one who asked about the cost.
So the balance then is on calories, on the macros and the micros.
Yes.
Should they be 30-30-30 or 33-33? Should they be even?
Not necessarily. Depending on, like I said, you need a checkup, first of all, an analysis to be able to now ascertain. So you might find your carbohydrates, I will probably give you like between 40 and 50% of what you're having on your plate. Your protein...
Carbohydrates are kina ugali and warus.
Yes.
And chapo.
And then for your protein, I might give you tentatively maybe 20 or 30. And then for your fats, I want to be as minimal as possible. I could go to something like 15.
The nuts?
Fats. Your fats. So the nuts, the olives. But then remember, going into the festive season, most people...
Avocado siku hizi inatumiwanga asubuhi kwa mkate.
Yes.
unatumia saa 4, unaweka snack.
Yes.
Avocado unaweka kwa chakula saa 6.
Uh-huh.
Avocado nakula nayo sasa unasema ati you make it.
That is good fat. That is good fat that you're having. So what we want to do is to reduce the bad fat, and the bad fat comes in from your animal protein and then also from the deep fried foods, because we want you to have less of the bad fat, the saturated versus the polysaturated fats. Okay. So having the good fat will ensure that your meal is tasty. I'm not just going to give you like boiled foods. I'll definitely add.
Really sounds boiled, but go on.
It's not boiled. You can do sauteing, you can do pan frying, you can do your grilling, but as much as possible, try and avoid the deep frying.
But Jacqueline, they tell us things like marrow, and they tell us things like those that are good for you. Are you not saying that it's not?
Bone marrow.
Like, you know, the stuff that... Then now you're telling us that this is bad. Are they not good? Like collagen building and things like that?
They're good.
Now we are saying that
they're good, but it's in moderation.
So animal fats are not bad.
They're not all bad.
So they can actually be good for you in moderation.
Yes, in moderation.
Can we be realistic about this conversation? Okay, this is the festive period.
Yes.
The plates that you have in front of you, whether you don't know whether it's Wednesday or Thursday, you've been called we're eating. Which day are we? We don't know. Let's go. It's 12 o'clock. We're eating breakfast. Lunch is at 1. We've not had breakfast. We must eat breakfast before lunch. That kind of thing. You're not thinking about 30% on that plate being protein or 30% being carbohydrates. Is there a way we can temper it so that we then say, because now we also have people who get into this obsessive calorie counting, portion counting, it must be like this, I don't know, wait until the last thing. And then we say, how do we create a balance then between actually enjoying your food and still being a responsible eater to then take care of yourself? Because the obsession also, in many cases, has been also called a mental disorder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do we strike the balance between the two? Of course, being overweight, I mean, things that I've struggled with, you then now say, okay, I need to now see how I can work this out. But then at the same time, you don't want to get to the place whereby, it's counting nuts even. I had 3 nuts today. I can't have any more until tomorrow. I mean, how do we create the balance, I guess is my question.
Okay, in creating the balance, you want to have, you want to enjoy your choma, you want to enjoy your ugali or your fries, whichever it is that you're having. But then incorporating a good portion of the soluble fiber from the whole foods, the fruits such as the apples, the oats, they are good sources of the soluble fiber, so that it can be able to, number one, help with your cholesterol levels, because what the soluble fiber does is that it helps to trap the cholesterol and helps to excrete it from your system. So incorporating a good soluble fiber in your diet, incorporating a high fiber. Now, when it comes to the festivities, we've got different setups. You might find that if you've gone for a retreat out as a family, maybe the lunch section is all about a buffet setup.
Yeah.
So, and they'll first of all begin with your carbohydrates, your rice, your ugali, your chapati. And then for your proteins, they might have the traditional mixed stew veggies, the peas, the beef, and some potatoes and carrots. And then you also have your other proteins of maybe chicken, maybe fish, maybe lamb, maybe liver. And then on the far end, they have a small portion of the veggies. Veggie salad kidogo tu. Sprinkling, just a little bit. Or unamua ni kachumbari kidogo, which is also okay. But then when you're looking at all this setup and into the festive season, most people will just eat and then relax.
Yeah.
You're not doing much. You're just cooling your body at that point. Now, the amount of calories that you're going to consume from your rice, your ugali, your chapati, and then you go and top up with the meat. And at the end of it, you say like, wacha ni teremshe na kasoda, wacha ni teremshe na kajuice hivi. You've consumed so much, but then your physical activity is limited.
Okay.
So I would encourage having a slightly more active lifestyle even as you go into the festive season.
Like if you eat, then you dance.
That
Something
can
like
work
that.
in. Look, for example, like the Western setup. During the Thanksgiving season, you will find that they've got these games prior, as maybe the ladies are cooking, the men are out playing football, and then they'll just come back to eat. But in the Kenyan setup, ladies are cooking, men are grilling the choma, and definitely some will be drinking. And after eating, the ladies go back to do the dishes. The men are still with a little drinking, yes. And after that, it's back to home. But then look at the children. They're running around. Prior to the cooking, even during eating, you'll be like, mwambie akuje kwanza akule ndiye arudi akacheze. Some of them will stuff the food into their mouth and they'll be out running around and come back when they've now swallowed. So for them, they're still burning up their calories, which is why it's very rare for you to find children in the rural setup who are overweight, who have got bad cholesterol. But then come to the city setup. You have your fries, you have your chicken in, you have your pizza, you're eating, you're on your laptop, you're on your iPad. To go one flight of stairs is an issue. You have to take the lift. To go to the neighbor just to ride the bike, it's an issue. You have to take an Uber.
To the neighbor.
Yeah. And it's not just about what you're going to eat. It's about how are you going to utilize it. You cannot fuel your car and leave it at the parking lot. You'll definitely take it for a test drive. So same case to your body. Fuel it and take it for a test drive.
Jacqueline, it is just 3 weeks at most. Right? At most, it's 3 weeks over this period. You are limited in how much you can eat anyway. But then, even if you're eating and you just, you let loose a little bit, Jan is coming, and Jan, you know what happens in January.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be able to balance it out?
Not necessarily.
January utakuwa ukitafuta nyama, hauioni.
There is the notion that December tunakula kuku, January tunakula kama kuku. So
utakula mboga January.
Mboga pia ni mzuri.
Yeah.
Mboga pia ni mzuri. But then when it comes to the festive season, you have to balance it out. January, you're complaining that nimekula mboga sana, neza pata kanyama wapi, neza pata kamayai wapi to get that extra protein. Now remembering that in December, you overindulge in the protein setup. You overindulge in a little bit of the carbohydrate setup. So I always say that one mistake can cost you. So always just be careful. That one drink can cost you your life. That one fry could possibly be the one that ends up clogging your arteries. So just be careful and not overdo it. So it's not about, yes, we're living in the moment, but we also have to be thoughtful of what lays ahead. So instead of overindulging in December, na kukula kuku zote December, spread them out. Kula kidogo sahi, ingine bakisha utakula January.
Au bakishi si yako. Umeitwa mahali. Can't tell them ni January. But then the main message here is watch what you eat.
Yes.
Basically watch your lifestyle over this time.
Be moderate.
Be moderate in everything.
Yes.
Right? As you eat, make sure that you have physical activity as well, exercise and all. That also burns your calories. And observe what you're eating. Be mindful of what you're eating. Is that as easy as is being said, Zuti?
No, it isn't, because the problem with this season is people get to invite you or people get to visit you and people eat and they want to drink. But it's worse when you're invited, because when you're invited, you're expected to eat. People take offense if you don't gobble up a lot of their food. So the question is, how do you explain the quantities that you're going to eat and what it is you choose to eat?
Yeah.
But perhaps even more daunting is we are actually asking people to reconsider the traditions they've had with regards to Christmas. It's like now, bus terminals are chock-a-block with people wanting to travel, which means the roads are already clogged up, okay, leaving Nairobi. Then they'll be clogged coming back. The arteries she's speaking of, the roads are a good analogy.
Quite.
Yes. Because when you take the unnecessary step of consuming all these things, you are going to congest that passageway. And your blood is going to have a problem. Your blood vessels are going to have a problem. Somewhere along the line, something is going to give. Yes. And yet, you could eat a little bit today, eat a little bit more tomorrow, eat a little bit more the day after.
You'll be fine.
And you'll be fine. Yes. And drink a lot of water while you're at it.
Oh, my friend.
Definitely.
I drink a lot of water.
Surely. So you talk about the importance of doing these checkups, okay?
Yes.
For nutrition-wise, what's the most important? What should I go and ask when I go for my next check? What should I look out for?
Number one, when it comes to the wellness checkup, factor in your family history. So if there is family history of diabetes, stroke, or cancer, that should be one of the tests that you should request for.
And by family here, what do you mean?
Your parents, your grandparents, probably your siblings. So you need to be on the lookout for that. So that upon this assessment, if there's that family history of it, it can be detected or it can be found way early. For the diabetics, for example, you can come in, for example, at AAR, we have that wellness checkup. So they're usually categorized in terms of the age. So there are tests that we would recommend for the younger age, but there are tests that we would recommend for the older age and wouldn't recommend for the younger age. For example, prostate cancer, it's very rare for you to find a 30 or 20-year-old with prostate cancer. But for a 50 plus, there's a possibility. So for the checkup, having to know, one, your family history, that's key number one. Number two, your lifestyle. If you know you live more of an office setup lifestyle, you come from home, report to work, you're seated at the office, you're seated all throughout the day, probably you'll take maximum of 20 steps the whole day. And when you're leaving work, you use the lift and get into a car, drive to the house. So there's a lot of sitting. In this essence, I would also factor in a good heart test, just in case of any clotting. So there are different tests that you would recommend for different ages and different forms of lifestyle. So popping into your nearest health facility, get your age, get your lifestyle, and then you'll be able to ascertain that with a consultation from the doctor. These are the tests that you need based on the history that you give.
Okay. Important to know. How often should one do? Quarterly, monthly?
No, not
half
monthly.
Yearly?
Depending, you can do it every 6 months. So that's twice a year.
Okay.
But then after the first test, that will determine whether or not you need to come in for another test in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months, or we're good for the next 6 months, or we're good till next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jacqueline Kathomi, nutritionist at AAR Hospital. Thank you very much for joining us. We've been talking about nutrition and watch what you eat and how you eat. Eat right, drink right this Christmas season. It's 8 a.m. Good morning.
Spice up your life.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. President William Ruto is urging you to be patriotic and uphold the ideas of the country's forefathers. He said Kenyans should maintain a positive perspective of their country respective circumstances, saying challenges facing the nation are being addressed. The president expressed concern that Kenya was being appreciated by outsiders, but some Kenyans are disparaging on the nation. The government's single payment system e-Citizen marked a new milestone after realizing 903.6 million shillings in a single day. Citizen Services Principal Secretary Julius Bitok reported the milestone, saying a third of the transactions were dollar denominated. Bitok attributed the milestones to the government's use of a single paybill number 22222 for all payments for the public services. He said following the directive and having over 14,000 services currently accessible and payable on the platform, the PS said the National Treasury collected 4.664 billion shillings in November, up from 1.44 billion shillings in June before the directive by President William Ruto. Minority Leader in the National Assembly, Opiyo Wandayi, has now raised his concerns that the Council of Governors and some senior officials in the national government are collaborating in a corruption scandal where they have added medical equipment in a contract that was recently signed with the Belgian government. Wandayi claims that this year has been hit with many scandals that have made life difficult for the average Kenyan. Wandayi says that in the contract, the county government included the plan, which was for medical waste equipment, with the agreement that it will include the cost of repair, but the cost of the whole contract increased by 60% despite the removal of taxes.
And now there's a major scam in the making that involves the National Treasury and the Belgian government. This is the microwave medical waste treatment project. The microwave medical waste treatment project signed between the government of Kenya and the Belgian government to supply counties, the 47 of them, with medical waste management equipment. Now, counties agreed to this deal on the understanding that it will include funding for the maintenance and management of the equipment. In the end, the cost of the contract signed by the National Treasury rose by 60% or thereabout, despite a tax waiver.
The MP now says that it is not known where the funds for the repair of the equipment are, saying that the opposition will not accept the corruption scandals to continue being experienced in the country. And Matatu Owners Association is asking drivers to be careful on the roads this festive season. MOA chairperson Albert Karakacha has said that he has sent his officers to various areas in the country to ensure that public transport operators comply with all rules. Karakacha has also warned drivers against increasing Matatu fares, asking traffic officers not to abuse Matatu operators this season.
We will be on the road, even us, to make sure that our vehicles are safe, our passengers are safe. So going forward, we are saying we will have a continuous road safety issue, not harassing our people. We don't want our people to be harassed. But we are urging our members, wherever they are, they should make sure that the vehicles are in good condition. And we are urging the police not to harass our members. We will be vigilant on the road to make sure that our people reach safely.
The Matatu operators have admitted that there is a small number of travelers these years compared to other years.
Kompea na zile Christmas za nyuma, hali ni mbaya sana. Kuna kwanga sahi watu wamejaa kwa viti, kazi imekuwa chini. Kwa sahi naona ni ngumu sana. Hata magari zingine zimesimama, zinakwanga sahi magari zinatoka saa moja, sahi magari zinatoka saa 7, zingine zimelala. Yaani hata tuelewi kama ni Christmas.
This time round, compared to last year time like now, people are not traveling a lot. So the business is a bit low. We normally said like 100 buses out of Nairobi at a time like this one. We've only managed to set like 20 buses. So now comparing to the way business was last year, this year it is a bit low.
This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning and happy holidays.
.102.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
99 problems and traffic is not one of them this morning. Just a little bit of it on the Thika Superhighway as you're coming through the Pangani underpass, and just because of that area, that's where you find yourself stuck. But really, we're not dealing with much of that, except of course if you're on Haile Selassie and you're trying to get one of those many Rift vehicles to very different parts of the country. This is the problem that we're having today. So apparently, word on the ground is that there's a lot of hailing happening and folks are looking for a vehicle to get out of the city, and that's what's causing all this drama. From the junction of Kamkunji all the way to railways, where folks are looking for vehicles that are going up country. Traffic also spilling in from Landys Road right around bus station. And then we have the vehicles from bus station coming closer to the city centre to pick up a quick passenger. That's what's going on. That's what's causing the drama. If you can avoid it, please do, because this will be a situation that will probably carry on for the next couple of days. Eyes on things. Let's know what's going on where you are. SpiceFM KE on X.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latif, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room.
Good morning and welcome to the third hour of The Situation Room. It's the 22nd day of December 2023. It's our final day of live Situation Room here in the studio for this year. Next week and the week after, we will be doing reruns of our show. And we want to know what conversation really caught your attention and you'd like it replayed. We'll be replaying those conversations that we've had this year. Some of those that you tell us. If you tell us the one that you would like us to replay, we will replay. Someone said a conversation with Edwin Sifuna. Pick one, repeat it. Somebody has said, of course, the Jimmy Wanjege conversations, repeat those. This week's conversation with Canon Dr. Sami Wainaina, repeat those. Conversation with the Treasuries, National Treasury CS, PLO Lumumba, lawyer Danstan Omari. Yeah, let's hear. Go to our social media handles and pages and let us know which interview we've heard this year that you'd like us to replay from next week. Okay? Next week starts today.
Sorry?
Next week starts today.
Is it?
Yes.
How'd you do that?
See, that's how it starts.
Oh, it starts on Friday. The next week starts on Friday?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Is it a thing for like now or it's always been?
No. That's how it goes.
Oh.
Anyway, tomorrow and Sunday, go to Naivas Greenspan Mall. Why?
Because we want to make sure that your smile is in check. And as you go down on the 23rd and 24th, that Saturday, Sunday, the folks from Colgate will be there and saying, look, rather they're supporting folks who want to make sure that your dental everything is in check. So go down there, free dental checkups, making sure that everything is okay for you. And our friends at Vibes Radio will be there, with you, so you can come and say hello at the same time, making sure your smile is in check. And then they're going to do it again the next weekend, the 30th and 31st of December at Naivas Buruburu. We'll be making sure, or at least you have a chance to come out and make sure that everything is okay with your formula. Tindio.
And as we are talking about Naivas and going to Naivas Greenspan, we are also telling you, go to Naivas today anywhere across the country. We're saying it's Naivas Kikwetu Fiesta. It's not a Christmas if it's not Naivas Kikwetu Fiesta. Katika to 100% real Christmas deals in all 101 kilocals, all 101 Naivas branches. Each Naivas branch is called kiloko.
It's a kiloko.
Because it's been set up and arranged kiloko based on what people in that particular neighborhood would like to buy. So all 101 kilo calls, Merry Christmas to you and yours. Katika to 100% real Christmas deals. Naivas Kikwetu Fiesta. It's the way to go. And when you're still in that Naivas, remember school fees is coming, and it's important if you just buy kiwi. City.
Yes.
Just hold that kiwi up and show people the kiwi we're talking about.
This kiwi.
That kiwi.
This one.
That one, right?
This kiwi.
It's too high up. Bring it low. There. Yeah.
This kiwi.
There. Closer. Better. That one.
This one.
That one.
You can see it now. This one.
Now point it to the front. Not that side. That side.
Wow.
That way.
It cannot be seen.
Now it can now be seen.
Okay.
Now read the information written on the Starburst.
On the Starburst, get instant airtime or data, school fees, rewards. Dial star 459 hash. Sorry, let me start again. Dial star 459 star 5 hash and enter the code under the lid. When you open the lid, there will be a code. Enter that code and you will get instant
airtime
or data. Instant, meaning there and then, immediately on the spot. Yes, that's what it means. Yes, now this kiwi.
And on top of that, you get into a draw.
That draw, my friend, does wonderful things for you. And jump on that.
Get into a draw, and what happens is that 4 people then get a chance to roll and find out if they'll win school fees. 35,000 shillings goes towards school fees in January. This money goes directly to school. So you don't have to say, okay, I kept the 35,000 shillings in my pocket, then I had to buy 1,000. It has reduced to 34,000. It has reduced to 30,000. No. 35,000 school straight. You don't have to worry. Show up.
That's all.
That's it.
Very good. City, please remind us today's proverb.
Yes, our proverbs for this week have been from the country of Kenya, this wonderful country in the East African coast.
Yes.
Capital is Nairobi,
yes.
A country that has 42 communities, otherwise known as tribes, a country that is the 7th most populous country in Africa, a country that is the 28th most populous country on the globe, in the world.
And the 29th fastest growing economy in the
world. That is Kenya. And unknown to you is country of wonders. Kenya ni nchi ya ajabu.
The cradle of mankind.
Yes, exactly.
This is what
The Swahili proverb follows. Bahati ikikukataa hata kwa